What's up guys? We're here in the beautiful Beaconsfield service station. It's nice and sunny, for UK anyway. We're on our way to get the turbo manifold made with Mike at Walton Motorsport. Last week we put the engine in the car, it's starting to finally make some really good progress. But yeah, without further ado, let's crack on and get on the road. Louis, absolutely no pressure now. Maybe we're in the wrong place. Hello, anybody home?
How much cheese did you eat?
He seems to think that, making it out that I'm unreasonable here, so like more noise, flames, straight out the bonnet.
Such a child. But yes, yes. We designed these in-house ourselves. It's a plastic turbo, useless for anything. Everyone's got a fetish, right? So
Mike does turbo OnlyFans.
And I'ma do it again. Watch me. Tell 'em I can't take no
These roads are absolutely perfect. Look at that though. It's quite nice.
What a view.
Right guys, we are about 10 minutes away from Mike at Walton Motorsport. We're taking the car for turbo manifold. As you can probably guess, Volvo 740 drift cars with free rotor engines aren't that common, so getting a off-the-shelf item has proven a little bit tricky. So we do most of the fabrication in-house on the car with help from my friend Rob. But turbo manifold, especially on a rotary engine that gets extremely hot, is something that's best left with experts. And Mike, a friend of mine, he does this full time and absolute wizard with exhaust. So he actually made the manifold on my Corvette. If I go for a really tight section here, and that's been absolutely amazing. So we're dropping the car off now. We're going to chat to Mike, and yeah, hopefully he can sort this out for us fairly quickly. Louis, absolutely no pressure now. I think so. Mike said he can't see me, so maybe we're in the wrong place. Hello, anybody home? Oh, I was hoping there was going to be like smoke and stuff. I guess you're going to want it in backwards anyway. Yeah. He's moaning already. We've only just arrived. He said the Volvo is sharp. He's not happy. He's not happy about the safety features of the rear of my Volvo. What? But he's got his gloves on, so he's okay. You've all gloves. Right, hang on. I think I might need to turn. The diff is very stiff. That's the only annoying thing. Get this moved quickly before we annoy the neighbours. So to try and get you guys a little bit more involved with the build, we're going to try and do some more giveaways because that worked really well last time. So this time, in partnership with Turbosmart, we got a cool t-shirt and a hat. All you have to do to win is drop a comment, hashtag rotary-Volvo, and anything else you want to say about the build. And we'll pick a winner at random on next week's video and announce the winner. Yeah, is it going to be in the way?
Yeah, that's exactly where all the pipework is.
Ah, we guess. This is like the story of the Volvo. You're thinking you're doing something right, and then it is wrong. Right, I'm here with Mike from Walton Motorsport. He's going to sort us out with an awesome manifold for the Volvo. You might recognise him as the voice of BDC back in the day, but what he's more known as, they make an amazing exhaust. So why don't you tell a bit about what you guys do, how long you've been doing it for?
Yeah, so, well, let's talk about your car first. We'll get into the company later, but okay. Your car's right behind us.
Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about that thing. What I want to know first thing, right? I mean, this is an incredibly amusing project to work on, just hilarious. It's going to be such incredible fun, which was like, so interested in doing it. But what on earth gave you, what dream, what How much cheese did you eat before you went to sleep? Had a violent dream in the night and then came up with this?
Obviously, we built the Corvette a few years ago, which you know
Yes.
about because you did the exhaust for that.
Yeah.
That's been incredible. But we wanted to make something different, something that we can replace my S14 with. You know, something that also kind of one-up the Corvette. There's no point building something that's worse than what you've already got.
Yeah.
And then you start looking at, well, what can beat a Corvette? And then you look at what everyone else has done, and it's like people are building McLarens, and like anything I build now is not going to be that much better than the Corvette-wise that I can afford anyway. So then we thought, well, let's go something completely opposite. And I've always liked Volvos, and you know, what's more opposite to a streamlined Corvette than a square or a triangle to a square?
We put a triangle in a square. We're
That's
trying to
it.
fit a triangle in a square hole. That's what we're going to try.
That's what
and
we're
do.
going to do, and you're going to make that fit. So
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really fun. I think drifting's got so competitive nowadays that you can try and chase to have the best car and be your best driver self. It's still such a competitive space to actually do well. So I figured, well, let's just build something that's entertaining, that's
Yeah.
definitely going to stand out, and this is what we come up with. So I mean, I wake up and think maybe this is a bad idea, but we're down the rabbit hole now.
No,
so
it's never a bad idea. We're too far into it for it to be a bad idea. Triple rotor made by PPRE, or built by PPRE.
yeah, so it's exactly the same spec as the one in the Corvette. So from that part, it makes it really easy for us. We know what we're doing with this. We've had enough years to kind of stop being scared about it,
Yeah.
and just be able to drive it hard. So with this one, the biggest difference for Mike himself is going to be, we actually want to make this one a pass noise tests. The Corvette is like extremely loud. We didn't have space for a proper exhaust to go straight out the wing. So we want to try and fit a full pipe going out the back, so we also meet regulations, because I do want to compete in this thing. So that's one challenge. And then probably space. Like I think everyone assumes that a Volvo is going to have loads of space.
Well, it kind of does. You normally, when it's got the inline 4 that it had in to start off with, but not when you've got this gigantic inlet manifold on the side of. I mean, everyone thinks the rotaries are quite small. They are height-wise, but actually they're quite wide.
Yeah, they're not as small as people think. So we've got an engine that's not as small as people think, and a car that's not as big as people think, and we've got a turbo
That's way bigger than anyone could ever need for anything, ever.
Yeah, so...
Well, maybe not. Well,
this is actually a smaller one, but
yes.
The other one's bigger, but it's the same fitment, so...
I was just going to gloss over that.
We're gonna
bit.
gloss over
I was
that
just going to pretend that you'd bought the actual big
No,
one
no,
and
no,
not
not
the smaller substitute.
We're still waiting for that one. Garrett,
Come on,
you know
hurry
where
up.
we're at. So yeah.
Okay, so I've got to fit this in there. Before on the Corvette, there was a huge amount more room in this area because the turrets were there basically, and they're up here now. So we encroached into this space to fit the turbo on the Corvette, and we can't do that on this. So we're going to have to put the turbo a lot further forwards.
Yeah, and that's more common traditional style when you have like an RX-7 in for a big single turbo.
Sure.
It goes more
they
up the
normally
front, right?
go in line-ish with the front cylinder, maybe ever so slightly forward. So that is with the normal 2 rotor manifolds that we make. They go there. So
Yeah. Because you don't make an off-the-shelf 3 rotor manifold, right?
we're not off-the-shelf one, no, because not enough people are insane enough to have one.
Yeah.
And also, if you're in a triple rotor, you're generally trying to squeeze it in something. So if you have an off-the-shelf option, it's probably not going to work with whatever lunatic car that whoever wants to buy it is putting in. So they're not 90% of the time they're going to have to be custom.
Yeah, and this is probably one of the most custom bits that we haven't done on the car, because a lot of the bits like steering angle, suspension stuff, that's pretty much bolt-on for us. So we're lucky in that sense, but this is the custom part that we need to get right because it sees a lot of heat.
Yes, it does. When you put the Corvette through its paces, that's seen a huge amount of abuse of our system that we put on there.
Yeah, so that's lasted, and I think one of the things I'm actually looking forward to with this car, so when I started driving the Corvette and I first kind of into rotary life, everyone spoke so much about how it's going to break. Like, it just had it in my back of my head that it's going to break all the time and it's going to be expensive. Over time, it's kind of, that's faded, and you just know that the harder I drive it, the better it works. But it is still so noisy, so it is quite yeah, it's kind of scary in itself. So I'm actually looking forward to having one where it's a little bit quiet, because I think that's going to take the edge of like how scary the engine is.
I don't know quite how quiet it's going to be. I mean, we'll get
Quieter.
it's going to be quieter. Nothing could be louder than the Corvette. Let's be honest here. So we'll get it quieter. I'm not sure it's going to be. It's not. You're not going to be able to drive this and go.
I think what he's saying is he is giving no guarantees that what his work is going to perform to noise regulations.
Well, it depends on what's going on at the back here, because you cut the car right at the back.
Yeah, I have kind
and
of.
that's where all the silencing needs to go. So the more space I've got there,
yeah,
the more quiet I can make it.
Yeah, so we've kind of given Mike a bit of a tricky task. So we've asked him to build an exhaust system coming out the back, and the back of the car isn't actually there. So it might either. So it's probably going to be a revisit or something else. But we'll get most of the hard part done, and that bit we know we can do later. I think we're going to have a few options. So one that's a quieter option, and one that's like really quiet, where, well, maybe we have to put a silencer for the whole boot, or even tow a trailer, I don't know.
Yeah. Trailer with the silencer on it, we can do that.
But yeah, so yeah, so we're using the Garrett G 45 1500, which is big and heavy, so that's a bit of a challenge in itself, right?
Yes.
So whilst the actual length exhaust is not that, well, it's only three exhaust pieces, you said they're really thick, aren't they? So that makes it harder.
Well, this is the collector. We made this before you came here, so we had something to film when you arrived, at least something. This is a handmade collector that we made this week, just in preparation for this. As you can see, the pipe sizes and the port sizes on a rotary engine are far larger than they are on a traditional engine. So, although there's only 3 of them, they're twice the size, nearly, not quite, but they're a lot bigger. So we've got to try and tangle those around. We want to get some sort of length in there, well, equal length and a little bit of length in the tube to give.
Yeah.
So that you've got a bit of a buffer for the pulses of the gas as they come through. And we've also got to try and fit this gigantic waste. Not only 3 gigantic tubes, the gigantic turbo, we've also got to fit, in order to control that turbo and make sure you don't spin it, create 75 bar of boost, we're going to use Turbosmart's unbelievably big StraightGate 76.
I mean, that wastegate is the size of bigger than a normal car's exhaust.
Yeah, quite a lot bigger than a normal car's exhaust.
So one of the reasons that we've gone for this option, and also shout out Turbosmart for helping us out in choosing this and providing us a really good deal on this stuff, is that on the Corvette we use twin 50mm wastegates, which is fine because we're only using it in one setup. But another thing, apart from trying to make this quiet, I wanted to have the option of running it plumbed in for noise regulations, but also external for all the noise and for kind of demo showy off the events. So having one wastegate to change that pipe that's going to connect it or stick out the bonnet potentially is way easier than 2, especially when you have lots of heat going on and they move about. So we've ended up...
I don't know if it's way easier. It's like more, it's all simple for you.
It's simpler for me to change,
yes.
Maybe not to produce.
It's more, let's say, more user-friendly. I think that's a better term.
Yeah.
Cheers. So not only do you want it quiet with a car that I can't make quiet because I have no idea what I'm doing, but I also need to make it an option to be extremely loud and ASBO if you want it to be at all times. So, right.
He seems to think that, making it out that I'm unreasonable here. So, I think...
The man who wants the world. That is you, Axel. The man who wants the world.
And then the other problem we're going to have is that it's going to be quite heavy.
It is going to be
we
very
need to do
heavy.
some bracing.
Yeah, so we're going to have to probably make a cradle up for the turbo. I'm not 100% sure how to mount it to that yet. I'm sure we'll be able to work something out.
Yeah. But one of the other cool things I think we should probably mention is that what we're using here is a StraightGate. So that's pretty new technology from Turbosmart.
Yeah.
And the idea, basically, that works a butterfly valve, a bit like a throttle body.
Correct.
And that can just, instead of a normal poppet valve, which, I mean, this is the Powergate 60. So this is, I believe that's the world's largest, not traditional style wastegate, right?
Yeah.
So you can see how big that is. And you can see how big that is. So not only the actual area, but the fact that the exhaust gases can go straight rather than have to turn a 90. That just opens up so much more options for control, right?
It does. Well, the electronic control. So a poppet gate relies at least partially, traditionally, on your back pressure of your manifold pushing against the spring, which helps to open it, as well as the vacuum lines to control it. This has none of that because a butterfly has an equal amount of surface area, whether it's open, closed, halfway. So there's no pressure against the butterfly itself trying to force it open or closed. So the whole thing has to be managed. Well, you can do it via vacuum with a different set of controls. But what we're going to do this time is use the StraightGate, the electronically actuated StraightGate.
Yeah. So that gives a bit more of an unknown in terms of tuning, but from what we read, it looks like it should be able to control it even better.
Yeah,
when we get it right.
Yeah, quite a lot of people have done this, and we use something. We actually use the original BMW actuator, but it's a similar kind of thing. So we use it on our BMW kits that we make for the B58. Use a electronically actuated StraightGate as well, which the whole ECU just controls the whole unit. So you don't have to have any separate boost controllers or any of that sort of stuff. It's all integrated into your ECU.
Yeah, and I think one of the coolest things that I like about this, and this is like the inner child geek in me, is that this, because it's electronic, it means we can potentially control it on a switch, on a keypad. So if we want, say we're in the pits and you've got people looking at the engine, you can press a button, open up the gate, rev it, and you're bypassing the turbos. You get an even more noise and potentially flames straight out the bonnet.
Such a child. But yes, you can. You absolutely can do that, Axel.
Yeah. Do you think we should do that? I think, make a note in the comments if you like that. I think it's a good idea.
That door at the minute.
Oh, okay.
Oh, do you want your tea?
Oh, my tea, I don't get that.
I don't remember which. I don't know whose this is. So.
Well, it's a 50-50 chance it's going to be right.
And it's wrong.
There we are.
Of course it is.
Right, so before we leave the Volvo in Mike's capable hands to build this turbo manifold, and he said he's going to try film some of this so we can show that later in the video, I thought we'd take a look in his workshop, because to me, or most people watching this who are like car nerds, fabrication nerds, this is like a dream workshop. So you probably come in here every day and it's normal, but I look at these things and it's just like heaven in parts and tools, and some of the stuff that you've got in it is really cool. So what Mike does, he doesn't just build custom manifolds for one-offs. You do a lot of, you're a big seller for especially like JZs, RB, SRs and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, we have a huge range of turbos, I say, anything from an MX-5 manifold, which is here, BP4W manifold, JZ manifold,
all the manifolds,
or one JZ manifold, all sorts of stuff. They're just finished on Friday, so they need to go out on Monday. But these.
This is really cool. This is one of your latest kind of innovations, isn't it?
Yeah. So we were, as many people do, struggling with economically making a collector that worked, was strong and reliable, had the best wastegate priority whilst we were fabricating the parts. So we originally came up with a design for a billet collector, which we made quite a few of. I can't remember how many, hundreds of them. And then we moved on, once we had the design down to exactly what we wanted to do, then we moved to investment casting, slightly more economical. The billet ones were incredibly expensive and they lost money on nearly every manifold that we made. So
they were cool.
We had to move on to the casting manifold. We did a lot of testing with different types of casting, different suppliers and all sorts of bits and pieces until we came up with one which was incredibly reliable. We're yet to have a breakage. And
you don't know, you can buy these individually, right?
Yeah, so you can buy these as a product off our website. In fact, you can buy everything that we make an exhaust manifold out of, you can buy on our website. The bends, the flanges, the collector, anything you want to do. And if you don't want to do it yourself, then obviously, of course, you can buy the complete off-the-shelf manifold. We make a huge range of manifolds, put years, decades, perhaps, into developing all of these manifolds there, so they should be perfect.
Yeah.
At the minute for most people's cars or your conversions and all sorts of bits and pieces. But we designed, I'm most proud about the collectors that we made. So we designed these in-house ourselves. We don't cast these in-house because I don't have a forge here yet.
One day.
One day I'll have my own forge.
But unfortunately, he doesn't have this yet for the free rotor. So if you're watching this for free rotor, keep nagging him. If he gets enough interest, he might.
There's going to be a lot of people wanting a through rotor before I make one for a free rotor.
Yeah, well, we'll get there one day. And this is also a kind of cool thing you had as well.
So we because we design everything in-house, we can make stuff like this. So we've got 3D models of all the turbos. Just wait 1 second. It's just my dad, just waffling on about something.
Just cut it, Louis will cut it.
Yeah, so because we design everything in-house, we are able to make things like this, which is a plastic turbo, useless for anything except for when you're leaning over a Volvo engine bay with a turbo that weighs, oh, what does that weigh? Like 15 kilos,
I reckon,
something
yeah.
like that, at arm's length for hours at a time is impossible. But you, if we print something like this, so I can hold that with one hand, I'd hold that for several minutes.
Yeah, right, let's do a test.
Yeah, I'm not going to test that. This will be the most boring video Axel has ever filmed.
Yeah. How long can 2 minutes hold a turbo?
Hold a plastic turbo for, but
yeah. There's other videos, there's other YouTube channels. That
I'm
do stuff
sure everyone's got a fetish, right? So
yeah, and if you like that kind of stuff, Mike does Turbo OnlyFans.
turbo holding OnlyFans.
Yeah.
It's just me holding a turbo. I wonder if there's a market for that.
I reckon maybe I can see the money. Right, so that's pretty cool. We're going to leave Mike now. Mike's going to film some stuff, and when we come back, we're going to have an absolutely awesome looking engine bay. And
yeah, so we've
hopefully
only got
it's
a week to do.
oh yeah, that's the other.
The other caveat
Yeah.
to all of this as well. Not only all the other things that were mentioned previously, but also we've only got a week to do it because then it's going back to a show.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. So
Brilliant.
no pressure.
No pressure. Yeah.
Come on, right on that. Chop chop. Let's go.
So the turbo is in a position. Young Jim here, I'm going to call him young. I don't think you even are that young. Placed the turbo in a position that was semi-agreed by Axel, but confirmed by us. That's pretty much how far we've got, to be honest with you. There's not really that much. It's close to that engine mount, isn't it?
Yeah, it's bloody close to everything.
I don't think it can be that close. It might have to be that close. You're going to have to move that a little bit. I know it's got to be close.
Are they going to be the actual engine mounts? Because
they're the actual engine mounts. That's them. That's what they want to use. That's what they're going to use.
Oh, we might as well. All right.
We've nearly got the correct position. It's about there, roughly, but I would say ever so slightly higher. It might have to be quite close to the bonnet. There's not that many options when you've got something this big trying to fit into this engine bay. I like video calling people, just so that he knows that he's on camera. Look, I told you to answer straight away.
Office worker, aren't I?
Yeah, office worker, we know. You're on camera, by the way. We need to change your engine mount, like we said.
Okay.
I'll show you for why, shall I?
Yeah, a bit tight.
All of it's a bit tight.
Okay. Well, let me know what you come up with.
All right, bye, Axel.
Bye-bye.
Okay,
Sorted.
easy. Some customers are really easy to work with like that. We like those sorts of customers. The collector is in the correct place. We're sticking with this place now. We think we're 78% sure that it's going to stay in that exact position.
Yeah, got to finalise the pipe length a little bit more, but
They're pretty much there.
Pretty much there.
So next job is to work out where the wastegate is going to sit, because we've got to do two things with the wastegate. We've got to have a version that plumbs back in and a version that goes out of the bonnet here. Because why wouldn't you want a bonnet screamer on one of the most outspoken cars ever, triple rotor turbo? I'm in full support of this. Right, we'll meet you back here again when more progress has been made.
So the wastegate position we're going to be putting around here. We're going to maybe clock this round and it will be going something along the lines of there once I've cut the port into the collector.
We put the wastegate on, Jim put the wastegate on.
Yeah.
It's down there.
It's down there.
Everything else is much the same as the last time we spoke. But you've got a plan, haven't you, Jim, for the downpipe and the plumb back?
Yeah, so I've got to get the front primary in now.
Avoiding
Yeah.
the engine mount, or the engine mount that you're going to modify anyway.
Yeah. And
try and
also we've got our brace now for the turbo brace, so I was just having a little workout for that as well. So this is the final fit up before I finish it on the bench, basically, which is what you'll see in a time lapse.
Go to time lapse. Well, it's one day further along than last time I spoke to the camera, and Jim has been working hard. The manifold is completely finished. Ta-da! You'll do a close-up of that, probably about here. And then the downpipe that we were talking about just before we stopped filming last time is tacked up, and Jim has managed to fit it all within this very tight space. But it's got a 4-inch downpipe and it's got a 3-inch
Plumb back.
pipe.
Yeah.
And you've just got to make a 3-inch screamer pipe now, and then a cap to block off the downpipe and cut a hole in the bonnet.
Yep.
And then phase 1 of trying to fit a 1500 horsepower triple rotor into a Volvo, as far as the exhaust is concerned, is complete. Where do we go next? What are we doing next? Oh, welding. Are we going to have another?
Yeah.
Are you going to have another?
Yeah, we'll do a time lapse of me welding.
Do another
up.
time lapse. Here's another time lapse.
Right, so I'm back at Mike Walton's place. He has done an awesome job on this turbo. I have got something in my eye, which is why it looks, oh god, it looks even worse on camera. I'm not sure what happened there. I stepped outside the workshop and something blew in my eye. But now I'm here, this thing is taking the pain away, because look at this.
I thought you were crying because it looks so good.
Oh yeah, that's what
that's what you should have told the people.
yeah, it does look pretty sweet. So Mike, well done. You've managed it.
Yeah, it was a bit of a task, but we completed it here. I didn't actually do it myself. Jim did it, who works here. But,
Subcontracted it.
Subcontractor. Well, he's not really subcontractor, he's employed, so that's not true.
Well, it's still got your name on it.
It does indeed.
I'm sure you were there giving advice.
Some advice was given, but yeah, we go, all finished. All the options that you wanted, everything that you wanted, all in one nice, neat little package.
And we've got this nice big brace to hopefully keep it from bending and cracking the...
Yeah, it's
falling
not.
off.
It's, to be honest, the brace isn't quite what I was hoping it was going to be, but there's a very limited option to things and places that you could mount it onto on the engine. So
Yeah, and we've got this nice little... There's a Turbosmart piece in here that lets us kind of brace to it. I can't really see it. So that's cool. So... yeah,
and
that's
then obviously the Turbosmart StraightGate.
Yeah, we've got the StraightGate in here. See, that is... It's in the pictures. It looked a lot tighter than it is in real. So I was a bit worried about heat, but I think that's actually going to be fine once we got some Thermomet cladding on there. It'll be absolutely sweet, I reckon.
Yeah, it's a nice tidy little package. We obviously haven't been able to do the exhaust system because we
Yeah.
didn't have enough car to do an exhaust system with, to be honest with you. And also, you wanted the car back 10 seconds after you dropped it off. And this is as much as we could achieve during the given time scale. But yeah, there you go.
Well, let's see how we get on. So yeah, we can take the car back now, and next week we're probably going to try do the back of the car. And but on Sunday we've got a cars and coffee event at my place. So time to get the Volvo back and yeah, tidy the workshop. So see you at the next one. Hope you liked the video. Like, subscribe, drop us a comment, and yeah, cheers for watching.